Bring on the opposition, cause my position is to shut you down as the basketball pounds on the concrete floor. Envisioning moves to freak brothers every which way, dominating like Doc J. Pass me the rock, I know just what to do with it. It's real vivid, I pivot through the lane, 360 behind my back. I take your monkey ass to the rack like Jerry Stack. Oh, here goes. And welcome to the 27th episode of Throwback Hoops. Please do tune into our video show on YouTube. And subscribe, and to all our audio listeners, wherever you listen to your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. We're available everywhere on all podcast channels worldwide. You would have just heard me spit some bars from Jurassic 5's 2000 record, The Game, where both Julius Erving and Jerry Stackhouse are referenced. Shout out to my boy MC Rocky B, who's a huge fan of our show, and he came up to me last week and recommended I quote that verse. So thanks, Rocky. And as always, I'm joined by my main man, Robbie Clayton. How you doing, fam?
What's up, Woods? Yeah, great to be here, mate. Always great to hear some J5 as well. You know how much I like them. Still to this day, one of the best ever live gigs I've ever been to. Like, absolutely amazing. So great to hear you spitting that, man.
Thanks, bro. Didn't you have a story about that live gig?
Oh, yeah. Early on in their days, at like a big day out in like the early noughties or something, being in the front row, I got to high five like Charlie Tooner and a couple of other guys and that. So, yeah, amazing. It's a shame they split up, but yeah, their music still stays strong today.
And Robbie, just before we move on, Kansas, NCAA championships, and we saw my guy Danny Manning in the crowd loving things. You enjoy the game?
Mate, a minute into the podcast and we're already hearing Danny Manning's name. But,
had to bring that up, man. Had to bring that up.
For winning that, though, yep.
Thanks, Ravi. And today we have a very special guest on the show. He's an OG. He was a radio host on 2RDFM, on Mix Boss's R&B and hip-hop show, a nightclub MC in the early 2000s. You would have seen him at Berlin Bar, Shark Hotel. He also MC'd at various university parties around Sydney, including Conception Day. He's also a student of the game and a basketball historian. The homeboy Prabs is in the house. Welcome to Throwback Hoops, brother.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful intro. And Robbie, just to let you know, mate, Danny Manning's not on my top Atlanta Hawks list either.
Mate, you're a good man. That's why I'm happy to hear, Prabs.
Woody, that was an amazing intro. I'm not worthy. Truly not worthy.
Nah, man. It's great to have you on the show. Thanks for making the time. And Prabs, you know, when you come on Throwback Hoops, there's one thing that you got to do, right? And that's to rock a classic jersey or a throwback. So what you got for us today? Why don't you stand up and give us a little spin and show the audience what you got today?
Now, and most of you typically see a jersey, but this is a jersey. Is that
jersey, man. That's fine. Yeah.
Who is this? Who is this?
Nice, the Admiral.
Yep. So Prabs is wearing a jersey for David, the Admiral Robinson, and Robbie. We had another guest on our show recently wearing a Admiral jersey, didn't we?
We did. Shout out to Nate from the Sports Blokes, a big Spurs fan there. I know he'll be listening to this. So yeah, a couple of David Robinson sort of references in a few weeks.
Awesome, Prabs. So talk to us, man. Tell us a bit about the Admiral.
Yeah, absolutely. So David Robinson had to be my favorite center when I was a kid. I'll tell you the sheer power of this guy. And he was the first center that I saw who could play like a forward, like a guard, ran the ball, held the ball, blocked the ball. D-Rob did everything. Let's just say, I know I saw the podcast with you and the guys who did showcase David Robinson's jersey in the past.
Yep.
You know, 3-time Olympian, 2-time gold medalist. He's an NBA champion. He's a 10-time All-Star. He's NBA Hall of Fame, Naismith Hall of Fame. He was inducted that same class with John Stockton and the greatness Michael Jordan. What you probably haven't heard is David Robinson actually won the IBM Award. Now, the IBM Award was given to players, and this is purely based on statistics. And the first player to ever win that statistical award, and this was all calculated through the IBM machines. Now, for those of you who don't know who IBM are, they're the old school, the grandfather of technology. They calculated based on statistics, and Magic Johnson was the first recipient, but David Robinson won it 5 times. And the last person to win the IBM award was none other than the big fundamental Timmy D. So I'm not sure if you guys knew that, but
facts, mate, we like that.
No, I like it, love it. No, I did not know that, but yeah.
But he's a philanthropist, and he's also somebody who gives back to the community. So I obviously have an affinity to those type of people, being on community radio myself those many years. And David Robinson named in the NBA First 50, you know, on the anniversary, and also named in the 75 anniversary as well. So, yeah, man. I can keep talking about D-Rob, but I think you guys have seen the power in the man who established it. You know, was one of the twin towers at the Spurs winning culture under head coach Greg Popovich.
Yeah, awesome, Prabs. Thanks for that. And you also did bring another jersey along. We were just talking about the NCAA just then, about Kansas. And what you got there for us?
Yeah, let me preempt this. Grant Hill is still my boy from Duke, but this this was my first ever NCAA jersey. Now, it's a training jersey, so you won't see the name on the back. But let me ask you, boys, who do you think it is?
Of course, Chris Webber, mate. Fab Five team's my favourite. I've got a Jimmy King signed picture somewhere in this room somewhere. I can't actually know where it is now, but Ray Jackson, Juwan Howard, Chris Webber, Jalen Rose. Shout out to the Fab Five.
Yeah, man. That was, oh, look, they, the first boys to jump on the basketball court wearing black socks with black sneakers and
long shorts.
Long shorts. Yeah. Chris Webber, he was that class of 93, 94. Chris Webber, Penny Hardaway, Vin Baker, Cal Buccini, man, the list goes on. Terry DeHere, we got some Rodney Rogers. There's some big hitters up in there. I'm not sure if I'm spitting names here for Woody Woods.
Sean Bradley, that draft as well. I'm pretty sure this is the second pick, wasn't he? If I'm not mistaken, Robbie.
Mate, we'll get fact checked if we're wrong, so it's all good. Just say it's right.
yeah.
Jamal Mashburn.
Yeah. Isaiah Ryder. All right, just to name a few in that draft.
Just to name a few, man. Yeah, man, you know, we grew up in the 80s and 90s, so love seeing these guys who, and I think we forget that these are the guys who ran multiple positions. That could run multiple positions, but they were, you know, very much pigeonholed into, you know, whatever position they had for a starting lineup.
Thanks, Prab. Really appreciate that, man, and you making that effort. So, Robbie, man, good. What you got for us today, man? You got an interesting jersey hanging in the background there.
Yeah, doing the GP double today. So, hanging behind me is the Gary Payton LA Lakers Reebok jersey. One of those random size jerseys, Woods. It's a medium +2, but it literally looks like it's a player size jersey. It's so big.
Yep.
So, don't know what was going on with those Reebok sizes back in the day, but really like the colours of that one. You don't see a lot of Gary Payton home Lakers jerseys, I guess, there. I'll stand up and show you the one I'm rocking too. It's even a little bit more old school. Another rare one as well. We were saying, Woods, you don't get a lot of home jerseys on the champion jerseys. They're mostly road coloured ones. So I'll stand up and we can talk about this one.
Sure. So for all the audio listeners who can't see, Robbie's wearing the champion Sonics home jersey. And as you said, Robbie, very rare to get the home champion jerseys. They like the bright colours of champion jerseys, right?
I do. Yeah, so, this is beautiful. This is in such good condition, this one as well. So I might have to wear this a little bit more. But look, just a little bit about the glove there. So, look, he was drafted by Seattle at pick 2 in the 1990 draft out of Oregon State. Obviously affectionately known as the Glove. He played with Seattle for 13 seasons, so very long time there before ending his career with stints at Milwaukee, the Lakers, Boston, and Miami. His accolades are NBA champion in 2006 with the Heat. He had a number of important games in that final series. 9-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, 9-time defensive first team. Somewhat surprisingly, only one defensive player of the year, despite the 9-time defensive team. So it just shows you that argument. They do not like giving that award to short guys, and we'll probably see that the same this year. I don't think guys like Beverly or Marcus Smart will be getting it. It'll go to a big guy. Look, he was also a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in Atlanta and Sydney. He was also recently named to the NBA top 75 team. So some great accolades there. Unfortunately, no bobblehead Woods, but I was going to bring something. So
for sure, man.
Got one of those Funko Pop figures. It's a bit glary with the light here. I'll try and sort of, see it. The light's playing havoc a bit.
There you go.
Gary Payton. Anyway, you see him on the back there. So, that's the glove. Why don't you show us who you're rocking today, Woods?
Yeah, sure, Robbie. I'm just going to stand up. Why don't you just take the audience through what I'm rocking today?
Sounds good. So Woody's standing up wearing an old school Boris Diaw Phoenix Suns jersey from the Big Frenchman. Number 3, it's the orange style Phoenix Suns jersey. So what's that, about mid-noughties, is it, Woods? Or?
Yeah, so this was 2006. Mm-hmm. Actually, this is when he won the Most Improved Player Award at Phoenix, right? And, he could do a little bit of everything, right? playing any position from center to point guard. He got the nickname 3D because of his, multi-dimensional play. His motto was drive, dish, defend. And the combination of his number 3 and the surname Diaw, 3D. You get it? So it's nice, man. And, we talk about Jokic and what he's doing now, right, guys? Running the offense from the 5 spot. Well, in D'Antoni's system, Boris Diaw used to do that, that positionless kind of basketball that he used to play even well before its time, right? Yeah, that was a fun team to watch, right?
7 seconds or less, right?
Yeah, for sure. Phoenix Suns basketball, childhood friend of Tony Parker's, and the two of them used to say to each other when they were kids growing up in France, imagine if we both made the NBA one day, and got to play together. And correct me if I'm wrong, he won that championship in 2014 alongside Tony Parker, didn't he, Robbie?
Yep, that sounds right.
Prabs, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
So that's just full circle. These guys are talking about it when they're kids, and then they come back and win a championship together. It's just an unbelievable story. And just a unique player, unique individual. He played he had a professional career that started in 2001 and finished in 2018. And before he even got to the NBA, he was a French League champion twice. He was a French League MVP. He's won a bronze medal at the World Cup of Basketball in 2014. And interestingly, a very, very good friend of Joe Ingles. When they were on the Jazz together, the two of them used to sit down and enjoy a coffee together before each game. So this guy is life for Boris Diaw went beyond the basketball court, right?
He was traveling around the world on a boat, I think, after he retired, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he still is, right?
Do you remember how he got to Phoenix as well?
Yeah, of course I do, man. It was from Atlanta.
A trade that worked out really well for our Hawks there. I mean, it was not as much as I don't like the guy. We got Joe Johnson back.
Yeah, I remember, man.
All-star. So we gave up a young talent in DL, but got Joe Johnson back. So that was actually a good trade for Atlanta. But no, I'm liking that one, Woods. It's that's a pretty random jersey too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really random. Yeah, 16 years old, and I really was a big fan of his. And in Atlanta, man, he was playing the guard position, if you recall, man, right? And then
definitely. They were wanting him to be a point guard, weren't they?
Right. So, very versatile player and a great person as well. So, 3 really distinct, nice jerseys today, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time. Okay, let's move on. I think it's time for some Q&A with Big Prabs. Prabs, you ready? Let's chop it up, man.
Let's chop it up, guys. Oh, before you chop it up, I want to say, Robert, in the 2000 Olympics, I got to say hello to Mr. Gary Payton at the end of one of the games.
Was he talking trash at you, or was he being friendly?
You know what? He was actually quite a nice dude. I think the one that was kind of on a fiery mode was Vince Carter in that Olympic season.
Interesting. Yeah. Looking for Frenchmen to dunk over. Yeah.
And Lithuanians.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. So firstly, Prabs, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, right? So, we've got a very special episode today, right? And growing up, you've had 2 great loves in your life: hip hop and R&B music, and also hoops. You've been heavily involved in both scenes, right? What is it about these 2 art forms that go hand in hand? As they say, perhaps rappers want to be ballers, and ballers want to be rappers. Why is that?
It's an interesting little paradigm, isn't it, guys? You look at it. I think when let's take it all the way back. Basketball is a sport that you play in the neighborhood, and then when you talk about hip hop converged in the 70s, and the first of a hip hop party was DJ Kool Herc, sound system, 2 decks, spinning it up. This translated onto, they took this setup into the basketball court, so you had a bunch of local people that would be playing, and they'd also have the music together. But what you'd find is they were passionate about both because it was an expression of who they were and an extension of who they were. And man, it doesn't just stop there. I'm not sure if you remember, but Shaq put out an R&B album. But let's take it way back. Wayman Tisdale, guitarist back in the Sacramento Kings era, right? Ballers have always wanted to be musicians. They've always wanted to be actors and in the movie scene. And that trinity, I think they all played to each other's specialties, if I can call it that. If you look at the NBA All-Star game now, you've got the celebrity game, and most of the celebrities are actors and musos that want to play ball. And man, like guys like Common, Trey, what's it called? Trey
Songz.
Trey Songz, that's it. These guys can actually ball. Ice Cube can ball, Snoop can ball. I think it's just the 2 worlds actually sit in the same sort of galaxy, and people just have a love and passion for it. And I'm the same individual. I grew up in the era where I saw David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Derek Coleman, Kevin Johnson, Michael Jordan. And at that time, their worlds were converging with the music world. And the music at the time, it's Belle Biv DeVoe, man. I remember, jump around, grab the rebound, and pump this sound. Big Ron, big man's in town. Like that. This is the sort of stuff that they were writing in their lyrics. It was very basketball centric, and I fell in love with the sport. I played for my high school, and yeah, being a fan, man. I've been watching the NBA. I watched it strongly for about 25 years. When it became a little bit positionless, I felt a little lost because I was trained in the man-to-man game. But I still love it, man. I think what the young guys are doing today, your boy Trae Young, Steph Curry, LeBron, these guys are changing the game, but they're changing it for the better, and I'm loving it, man. So yeah, a very long answer for it.
Great answer as well, though, right, Robbie?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start off with basketball then, Prabs, right?
Yeah.
You talked about how you played it in high school, and you've grown up with the game. You mentioned you've dropped some great names growing up that you looked up to and idolized, right? What was it about the game that made you fall in love in the first place, right?
Yeah, bro. I mean, I played soccer initially. So my grandfather and my father were both soccer players. I played soccer. And then in one season at high school, there was an opening on the basketball team. And I hit my growth spurt. And I'd already started training. And you know what it was? It was just the excitement. You run up and down the court. You're running with a group of guys that have you back the whole time, and you're there to just have a great time and win. That's the same sort of feelings and emotions that I saw when I used to watch Channel 10 and watch every Saturday before I have my lunch. I'd be watching the NBA. I'd be camped in front of the TV, watching Hakeem, Sam Cassell. I'd be watching Scotty and Mike hit the floor and just destroy teams. And then at that same time, when things pivoted, watching Shaq and Penny run, point guard center. So yeah, so I used to love watching. These were the teams that caught my eye. Not to take anything away from Gary Payton. I used to watch Gary lob the ball to the Rain Man and the Rain Man throw down. It was just the acrobatics and the sheer skill of the game. I know that's what excited me to get into it. And yeah, man, that's where the journey and the love started.
Awesome. And Prabs, obviously we know sort of you've got a big love for sort of hip hop and R&B there as well. So maybe describe to us how these sort of two worlds sort of collide there.
Yeah, mate, the first album I bought was Belle Biv DeVoe's Hootie Mac. Above the Rim was one of the tracks on there. Then I was listening to a lot of Rex and Effect. Dude, I listened to Vanilla Ice. I remember I even bought Vanilla Ice's album. We're taking it way back. A lot of these guys at that time, if you look at it, basketball became very marketable. So you were wearing the shoes. Now, I couldn't afford to get these shoes. My parents, weren't buying me these sort of, gifts. But these are things that, you look to and you aspire to. One day I'm just going to be able to, buy a pair of Jordans. And yeah, it was the sound that came, you had artists that would be on, video clips with ballers. You'd see them at the games. The worlds just, they collided, man. They collided for all the right reasons, Robbie. But let me take a step back. Let me ask you two guys, when did you guys fall in love with the game, and when did you fall in love with the music?
Yeah, I'll maybe take it away there, Wood. So, yeah, look, I probably mentioned before, my love for basketball, probably, the sort of early to mid 80s. And look, the love for hip hop probably didn't happen that long after that, probably, towards the late 80s, very influenced by my brother who was 5 years older. So early days was really into, people like Run DMC, the great LL Cool J, still such an underrated rapper today. Anyone that likes their hip hop, go and listen to those early LL Cool J albums. Unbelievable. And look, also guys like Eric B and Rakim and EPMD. So look, these days, especially Prabs, I'm pretty much stuck in that era as well as sort of the 90s, which I think was, the best decade of hip hop there. A little bit of the early 90s, but after that, I've kind of a little bit like that old man that just stays in that little section playing the music that you like from yesteryear. But yeah, that's kind of me. But yeah, what about yourself there, Woods?
Yeah, so basketball, I've said it on the show before. 89 was when I first started watching the game, right? My dad used to come back from America and influenced me heavily on that. But hip hop came a bit later, just like you, a few years later. Probably in the early '90s when Doggy Style came out. I was all about that West Coast shit, man. Basically, I'd be down with the Chronic, Doggy Style, Tupac, the Dog Pound, Dr. Dre, all that, Warren G, Nate Dogg, the 213, man. I was all about that, man. And, Death Row Records, for years I didn't even listen to Biggie because I was like, yo, I'm down with the West Side, right? You remember how it was when you were a kid? You're like, I'm either rolling with Puffy and his crew or I'm rolling with the Death Row guy. So I was very heavily influenced by that. And then Big Daddy Kane was one guy that I really enjoyed, but I like Robbie. I'm still stuck, man. I'm still playing those beats from back in the day, man. I mean, hip hop's a huge genre, right? And you like what you like. You know what I'm saying, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I definitely like the fact that you both said it. Robbie said, "I'm that guy that still sticks to that genre, to that period,
that era."
And Robbie, and I feel you because Robbie, Woody, and I are still those guys as well.
Definitely.
And I think it's because it not to take it away from the new artists and their content, but what those artists and what those artists saw and felt was this is them as a startup, and this is the troubles and all the tribulations they went through, and they expressed it so well with their music and with their words, and when those worlds collided together, man, that was something special too. So. Thank you for your answer.
Shout out to my guy DJ Quick, man. Got to give him a mention, man. I used to love DJ Quick, man. So
He used to have hair a bit like him too.
yeah, man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I remember Woods had those little braids.
Definitely, Prabs. All right, let's move on. That was awesome. Really fun, by the way. Talking about good old times, guys. So Prabs, just moving on to that theme, of hip hop. I mean, you've done some work in the industry, working on radio, as I mentioned earlier. You've also been a hype man for, DJs at various different nightclubs and parties around Sydney. Tell us about how much fun that was. That was in the early 2000s, right? And when you were just coming up, man. So tell us all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's weird. I went up for a conception day, as you know, at Macquarie University.
Word, yeah.
And there was a DJ spinning on vinyls there, and there was an MC, and there was a battle rap contest, and I was the last one. My older cousin pushed me, and he goes, "Get up there and destroy the other guy." And needless to say, Big Prab stepped in and took care of business. That MC then told the DJ, he said, "I'm getting this dude," and I didn't realize that was DJ Dinesh, and he was one of the resident DJs on George Street. Now he played at every club. They knew him everywhere for his R&B music.
Yeah, I remember him, man. I remember him. Yeah.
I think I actually went to school with that guy, by the way, as well.
Oh, right. Okay.
Pretty sure. Penno High. I'm pretty sure. Well, Dinesh was a DJ at Penno High, so it's got to be the same one, right?
That's him.
Nice.
That's him.
Nice.
What a small world. And so, man, I became Dinesh's, guy. I was the MC for him, and we did Berlin Bar. We did most bars like Cube.
Shark Hotel.
Shark Hotel. I was a fixture there for a while. And it was great, man. And there'd be times when I would just go clubbing, like to other R&B clubs, just to check out the vibe and the scene. And Sydney at that time, Sydney and Melbourne, was like the R&B hip hop mecca in that early 2000s, like late 90s, early 2000s. And I'd see Bruce Bolden, Rodney O, Anthony Mundine was a staple on Friday nights at a nightclub that's no longer there anymore, and the Star Casino. And this is what I'm saying. Like you just see all these people there, and my closest encounter was with, and I know he's not in the sporting arena of basketball, but is Michael O'Loughlin. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know who Michael O'Loughlin is, but on my TV screen, Michael O'Loughlin looks this big. Let me tell you, when you see him in real life,
he's probably 6'2".
Woods?
Yes, over 6 foot. Yeah.
Yeah, he's massive. And he was there that night with all the Sydney Swans players and all their wives and partners and so forth, and these guys were loving that real R&B music, and that time of the that R&B fever, you had one room that would have a live band playing R&B, then you had the other room with DJ spinning on the ones and twos. So Yeah, man, it was a magical experience doing, being in the nightclub scene, MCing, and also being just a patron, dancing it up on the night floor.
Yeah, awesome, Prabs. That's great to hear. So, yeah, as you said, we used to have a great scene in the nightclubs for hip hop some 15, 20 years back. Tell us about that and how things have changed in Sydney. What's different nowadays?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't frequent the clubs as much anymore, but I've seen that the culture has definitely
Getting older, man. Getting older.
that's true, and I don't think these legs can stand up for those late nights, 3, 4 in the morning and coming home. I'd say that the music scene's definitely changed. So you've got R&B and hip hop that's transformed into various forms, and you've also got different cultures that have adopted the music, but it's I think it's tilting towards more a popular style of music as opposed to it being a very special genre, which we kept special, and now it's been incorporated into more pop culture. But it's still beautiful, man. Either way,
Yep.
I think people get a lot more creative with their fashion sense, whereas back in the day, we needed to look slick, like we were going to a special occasion. Clubbing was a special occasion, and we appreciated it a lot more. I think it's changed, with COVID as well.
Yep.
And that people are slowly getting back out there, and I think the R&B hip hop scene will definitely blossom again.
Come back.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, perhaps we were going to ask you a little bit about some of the encounters that you've had with various sports stars and ball players in the nightclubs over the years, but I think you've already covered that. But yeah, I mean, you want to speak on that a little bit more? I mean, what was your encounter like with Bruce Bolden, for example?
Yeah, dude, with Bruce Bolden, watching Sydney Kings growing up, and I didn't mention this. Not only did I watch the NBA, I watched the NBL. I know you had Andrew Gaze on here, and I used to watch Andrew Gaze play for the Melbourne Tigers as a little boy. Leonard Copeland, I used to watch Mark Bradkey. For me, it was always D-Mac. D-Mac was the guy. D-Mac taking on Derek Rucker, that was enough for me. But seeing Bruce Bolden, mate, it was just, he's a giant of a man, first and foremost. And, you're absolutely starstruck when you see him. Because I think at the time he was playing for Melbourne Magic, and then he moved over to Sydney Kings. Am I correct in saying that?
Eastside Spectres, right, Robbie? Then South.
He's with Southeast Melbourne Magic as well.
Southeast Melbourne Magic as well. Yeah.
And so seeing him it was just phenomenal. And then, you know what? Later on, when I was working in retail, he became one of my customers. So I used to see him, and he used to bring his kids back in the day. And I know one of his kids is a professional basketballer now.
Yeah, not anymore. He's into crypto now. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
What a waste. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was. Yeah, I'd say, man, Bruce Bolden was one of those big dudes that could shoot the ball and he could play the defensive game too. And just seeing him there, man, I just felt starstruck,
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Terrific. Great stories, Prabs, and thanks for sharing them with us. Yeah, look, I think, guys, let's move on a little bit here and talk a little bit about the NBA. We're getting really, really close, right, to playoff time, which is, Robbie, the most exciting time of the year, right?
Definitely. What is there, like 4 days of the regular season left? I think we're at the time of recording, It's the Friday the 8th of April, so maybe 3 days left anyway, but yeah, we're nearly there.
So I'm just bringing up the table as it now stands as of today, guys, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on a few things. We'll start off with the Eastern Conference here, and I might throw over to you, Prabs. I just want to get who you think are going to win the play-ins and get that 7th and 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, and who is going to be your eventual winner of the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I want to just kind of throw it back to you. Now, with the play-ins, we know we've discussed this. There's a certain metric, right? You win a game, and then you can either qualify, or if you lose a game, then there's a couple of games you need to win before you move into playoff mode. I look at this right now, dude. I'm a fan of Chicago in the way they've set it up. I love their gameplay. Who I think I'm voting for your Atlanta Hawks, man. I want the Atlanta Hawks to get in.
Okay.
Yep, and so who's going to be the 7th seed? You're Atlanta and 8th, right?
Yeah.
Cleveland, Brooklyn, Charlotte. One of those guys are going to take the 7th seed. One of those guys are also going to... Charlotte's not, obviously, if you've already got Atlanta. So Brooklyn or Cleveland, one of them are going to make it through.
I'm putting it on Brooklyn. I've got much love for Patty Mills, and Blake Griffin was my boy in LA Clippers, so I'm going to give it to Brooklyn. Yeah. What do you guys think?
An eventual winner?
Oh man, eventual winner in the East. I'm gonna stay with Giannis. Giannis is the freak. Giannis is he's just Mr. Everything. So yeah.
All right, so you got Milwaukee taking it out, and then you've got Brooklyn, Atlanta qualifying 7th and 8th, Prabs, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And Robbie, I might throw over to you, but just before you give me your predictions, Robbie, at the start of the season we all did this, right? You and me, right? Do you want to remind the viewers a little bit about who we had in the East and West?
Sure. So look, I guess we're both a little bit off with a few teams that I think to be expected. So my top 6 in the Eastwoods I had in this order: Nets, ouch, Bucks, Hawks, a little bit of a homer pick, Celtics, Heat, 76ers, and then I had basically the play-in with Bulls, Pacers, Wizards, and Knicks. So obviously well off with 3 of those there. Your East predictions were Nets first as well, Heat, Bucks, Hawks, 76ers, Celtics, and your playing teams were the Bulls, Knicks, Hornets, and Pacers. So you did well getting the Hornets there. Yeah. Obviously, we both had the Pacers there, so I don't know what quite happened there. I mean, obviously, resting Malcolm Brogdon for literally 60 games in the season probably didn't help, and trading Karis LeVert for not much in return. So, yeah, I guess in terms of where I'm looking at Woods, I was actually, we went out last night and had a bit of a chat. I actually think it's going to be a repeat of the finals from last year and the same results. I really do. I think as much as Phoenix seems like they've improved and they will have the home court advantage, I really like this Bucks team. I think they're very well suited for playoff game. I think Drew Holiday's, always going to lock up one of the sort of, guards on the other team. Brook Lopez is back. The Greek Freak's the Greek Freak, and obviously Middleton as well. So that's probably where I'm looking. What are your sort of thoughts on? So
you got Milwaukee taking out the East, right? But what about 7th and 8th in the play-in? Who you got there?
Okay, so the play-in, yeah. Look, at this stage, I'll probably say Hawks and Brooklyn will be the 2 teams that go through. Charlotte, I really don't know what to expect from them. They can be pretty good one day and pretty bad the next. I guess you could say the same for the Hawks, but I think the Hawks are in pretty good form. You can see on there they've won 7 out of their last 10, which is pretty solid. Plus they've beaten Brooklyn, they've beaten a few of those teams above them, and beaten the Cavs recently. So yeah, I'll say Brooklyn and the Hawks to fill those last 2 spots.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty similar to you two in terms of who's going to win. I've got Milwaukee taking out the East again. And I wore my Cleveland Cavaliers hat today because I just want to give a shout out to the work that they've done this year, right? Unbelievable, right? And I think I'm gonna go with Cleveland and Atlanta to go through, and Brooklyn and Charlotte to actually miss out, right?
Hey Woods, what were we doing with the Pacers, mate? Both of us.
Mate, I don't know, right? Yeah, and I mean, yeah,
guys, you know, Reggie Miller's not going to suit up to bring him back, right?
They needed him this year. Please.
All right, so how about we just move on to the Western Conference, shall we? So you see that the standings up there, and maybe I'll throw over to Robbie. Why don't you kick us off? Give us your winner and your 7th and 8th. But before you do that, maybe you want to tell the audience a little bit about what we picked at the start of the season as well.
So our picks at the start. So I'll start off with the West. So I'm just trying to have a quick look here to see how I went. I mean, obviously, the Lakers we both had high. In order, I had the Jazz, Lakers, Phoenix, Denver, Golden State, and Dallas. The play-in, I had Portland, the Grizzlies, Clippers, and Pelicans. So I'm sort of okay with 3 of those, I guess. Woods, for yourself, you had Lakers first. I think I heard yesterday it's the first time a favourite going into the season has not made the playoffs since they started recording that stat. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, yours were Lakers, Jazz, Golden State, Phoenix, Dallas, and Denver. The play-in, you had Grizzlies, Pelicans, Portland, and Clippers. So we had the same teams for the play-in. So, look, I think we didn't go too bad, both of us, on the West there. Woods, obviously, everyone would have picked the Lakers, so there's no shame there. And the only other team we sort of got wrong there, we were a little bit lower down on the Grizzlies, but obviously Portland there. But, Portland, just one of those pretty sort of crazy seasons with a lot of injuries and a bit of dysfunction and everything else like that.
For sure.
Look, in terms of my sort of predictions there, I mean, I see
Phoenix, yeah.
Phoenix getting there pretty easy. I'm pretty sort of open at this stage who they could play. I actually think it could be Dallas. It could be the year that Luka gets out of the first round. Golden State, I'm still not convinced about. And I think Memphis, as much as they have been very good, are probably just that year sort of away. But I mean, full credit to them, 55 and 25 at the moment. I think it sort of shows you. I mean, I'm going to go back to that argument about All NBA. I'm probably thinking maybe you can't have Ja Morant in that All NBA team now. He hasn't played enough games. And also, there's also that team aspect there, and Memphis are like 85% wins without him there. Actually, a better record without him than with him. And that's over a lot of
interesting
games.
stat, man. Interesting
very
stat.
Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. In terms of that play-in and stuff, Woods, look, it's pretty weird, isn't it? I mean, look at the gaps there. Minnesota 6 over Clippers, Clippers 4 over New Orleans. So it's kind of been settled for a while there. Look, I probably won't go out much on a limb there. I'll say the Minnesota and the Clippers both go through there. Pelicans, it's a bit hard to predict with them. They've definitely got some firepower. I think San Antonio's kind of got in there playing with a bit of heart for Pops and that, but I can't see them doing much in that playing tournament. But, yeah, what do you guys think of it? What are your guys' thoughts?
Prabs, give us your winner and your 7th and 8th seed.
Yeah, look, I'm saying the Phoenix Suns are going back into the finals, and then it's because they have all their pieces absolutely firing at the business end of the season. So this is going to come down to the wire, just like last season. With the play-ins, I can't see much coming out of New Orleans. Look, I'm wearing a San Antonio jersey, but I don't feel like San Antonio have got enough to pull through. And at least the Clippers have got a fair few pieces, and Minnesota Timberwolves, I mean, Cat's still there, man. Cat's still pulling. So I reckon I'm gonna stick with Minnesota and Clippers like Robbie to make it through.
Yeah, thanks, Prabs. For me, like same. We had the same winner in both Eastern and Western. All three of us. I'm gonna go with Phoenix as well, a repeat of last year. But just for the play-in, I think Minnesota well deserved after a lot of many years. I think the last time they actually made a playoff team, they had Latrell Sprewell, Sam Cassell, and Kevin Garnett on the team. Am I right, Robbie?
I thought they did make it one year.
Maybe.
With
they did.
Rookie, maybe with
they
Jimmy
did.
Butler.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they might have. But on whatever, they've had a long period of not being successful. So they're going to get that 7th seed. I want to be a little bit of a. DeJounte Murray's my guy. You know that, Robbie. I was wearing his jersey last night, when we're out. So I'm going to say the San Antonio Spurs under Popovich are going to close out that 8th seed. They're going to win 2 games against New Orleans, and then they're going to take the Clippers again in 2 more games, and they're going to fight their way into that 8th seed. That's my thoughts. But let's see how it plays out. Really appreciate you guys giving your thoughts. Yeah.
Hey, Woods, I know we're about to move on to some NBL. I just had one quick question.
Sure, man.
There's a team that really interests me at the moment. We sort of represented them a few weeks ago. But what do you think about the LA Clippers? Paul George is back and looking pretty good. Apparently, Kawhi's back practicing with no kind of obvious restrictions or anything at the moment. There's rumours he could be there for that play-in game. Could you see the Clippers surprising and maybe going 2 rounds in?
That changes things completely. So if you've got Kawhi and PG, right? To go along with these young guys who've really developed without them being there. Because a lot of these guys have got an opportunity to play without them being there and have gained that experience. And if you add those 2 guys to the mix,
that's
man, you do not...
and a top 20 play.
You do not want to be playing the Clippers if they've got Kawhi and PG there, right? So, I mean, look, that'll change the whole thing if Kawhi can play. But I'm still... not convinced he's going to play, are you?
Yeah, it's hard to tell with him, isn't it? I mean, he could end up being healthy and still not coming back. He keeps everything close to the chest. But yeah, I thought I'd bring it up. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. But no, really looking forward to these playoffs. For sure.
Really excited. Just a few more days to go. And as you said, shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies. No one thought they'd be second in the Western Conference at the start of this year, right? So,
exactly.
All right. As you said, Robbie, we're going to move on to some NBL discussion. And I might just throw over to you, man. Take it away.
Sounds good. So we're up to round 19, fellas. So, as I said, we're recording on Friday, the 8th of April. There were 2 games last night, both pretty solid games. Obviously, Melbourne winning a close one against Southeast, and then the Wildcats sort of breaking that losing streak at home. Look, as we're recording this, the Jack Jumpers are playing Cairns. Like literally, it's probably about halftime now, so we won't sort of go on to that one. But look, maybe we'll start with sort of the next game tomorrow, Brisbane Illawarra. Prabs, I might go to you for that one, mate. So I know you've been watching a lot of the Hawks games this year, and you've got a bit of a love for Isaac White there. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the Hawks?
Man, I'm telling you, dude, the Hawks. Okay, so I watched the last game the Hawks played Risen Bullets. Justinian Jessup was heating up. I was just a little bit disappointed because I saw Isaac White, and it's just that being a person who's played basketball before, he has that basketball mind. He's a very intelligent player. It was just one move that really had me fixed on him. His defender came in jumping up to shot block. he was so calm and collected. He watched the defender and then he popped his shot. He popped it through, and I was like, yeah. And you know what? He's not the most gifted in terms of athletic ability, but he's so smart on the court. So, and he's not the only one. The Hawks have got plenty of players in there. I think the Hawks are going to take it to Brisbane, and they're going to give him another beating.
Oh yeah,
good call. We'll go to you, Woods, for the next one. So we've got Adelaide playing against Sydney. I think Sydney, they've won a couple in a row, have they? Or?
Yeah, come on, man.
How many is it now?
Stop tripping, man.
How many?
10 in a row, baby.
10. Wow.
10 in a row, right?
Wow.
And,
so they're going to win again, right?
For sure, man. I was on the NBL Pocket podcast a couple of nights ago, and I was speaking on them, and the emergence of someone like McCall Maker is just, and has added another dimension to that team, and covering for Jordan Hunter being out for the season. And Adelaide, man, your favorite team, man, right? I don't think Todd Withers or Dust. I think they're going to start tanking now and give some Manny Malou and some of these young guys some minutes, man, and not even play their imports. I think Sydney should take it easily, right? Yeah.
I don't think anyone will disagree with that. So, look, maybe I'll talk about the next game after that. So, It's an interesting one, I think. We've got the Breakers playing against South East. So obviously, both teams played Thursday night. Wetzel up against his old team there and in great form. Tell you what, I reckon this is a real danger game for South East. I think New Zealand could come out and win this. Strange dynamics with that team. I think they might have checked out for Dan Shamir, in all honesty. Not sure whether we'll be seeing him next season here. But look, I think that'll be an interesting game. I'd say maybe South East just in a close one, but I think that's a bit of an interesting game. Next one, Cairns and Melbourne. Look, I'll go to Prabs for the next one because I know you're a Cairns man, Wood. So Cairns and Melbourne, what are your thoughts on that game, man?
Me?
Yeah, Woods. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I mean,
Mr. Cairns man. Yep.
Let's just talk about Keanu Pinder for a second, man. All right, absolutely tearing it up. Okay, 20-10 in his last 2 games. He's passing the ball unbelievably, man. Making great decisions. But I think that's going to be a fun game, man. I don't know what happened today, but Cairns have won 4 of their last 5. And if they win today against Tasmania, it'll be 5 of the last 6. I know Melbourne's going to be is a powerhouse. They're going to be hard to beat, but that's going to be a fun game, man. I obviously think Melbourne will win, but Cairns are not going to be an easy beat, man. So, and I'm really proud of Keanu. Yeah.
No, definitely good call, Woods. Prabs, Adelaide and Brisbane, the second last game. It's not looking like the most exciting game on paper.
Mate.
Give us a thought or two about that game and who you think might take it out.
Look, if Brisbane come off a loss against Illawarra, I'd say they're going to be hungry for a win against Adelaide. So,
I think they've played pretty recently too. Those teams, only last weekend, I think it might have been.
That's right. And if Woods,
it's a good game.
If the Kings have beaten Adelaide as well, so now this is 2 teams, and we're just predicting this. If 2 teams have come off a loss, they're both going to be itching for a win. To put faith back into the fan base and their administrations. So, look, that'll be a tight game, I'd say.
It was last week, man. Jason Kidd got those 5 threes in the first, 7 or 8 minutes, Robbie, you remember? Against, so, I mean, that's going to be fun. That was a fun game last week, so...
Look, probably the last game we won't speak about a lot. It is a rare Tuesday night game, we should point that out. So it's
going to be fun.
We've got games from sort of Thursday all the way through to the Tuesday there. So, 9 games in sort of over 6 days. I think Sydney will obviously continue that streak, so that could be up to 12 by the end of this week. And that's a pretty decent road trip for the Kings, isn't it? Adelaide and Breakers. I don't think there's much problems there.
And Robbie, just quietly, if Illawarra beat Brisbane, as Prabs spoke about, and Sydney win both games this week, on Thursday night, right, just before the Easter long weekend, Sydney travel down the freeway to Wollongong to play against Illawarra, and Sydney will be on a 12-game winning streak. Illawarra will be on a 6-game winning streak, and it's likely that they'll be second and third, come playoff time. So this is going to be a really fun game next Thursday night, man.
Huge, definitely. Yeah, no, it's sort of shaping. I think, as I said, sort of 2 rounds after this one. So, been a great season. Looking forward to these last few rounds, and of course the playoffs ahead.
Guys, just to let you know, when I got back into the NBL to watch the NBL, my first game that I saw live, and Woods was there, was Sydney Kings take on Illawarra Hawks, and I was there to watch LaMelo Ball do his thing. And I've got to say, these 2 teams are very exciting to watch, and this is going back 2-3 years ago, so they're still exciting to watch.
Did anyone see that pass that LaMelo threw today to Montrezl Harrell?
No, I didn't, man.
Jumped in the air, chucked it through his legs, under his legs, off the backboard, and Harrell threw it in. Their bench was just going nuts. Check out the replay after we're done. Quality pass. Pass.
This is almost an All-Star Weekend pass.
I almost forgot Montrezl Harrell's on the Hornets now.
Montrezl Harrell, a bit of a journeyman over the last few seasons.
Yeah,
eh?
for sure.
Hopefully he doesn't come back to haunt us in a potential playing game. But yeah, no, I thought that was a good play.
And hopefully we can take Prabs out with us to a playoff game, man, later this year when the Kings make the playoffs, right? So
Definitely.
all right, awesome.
Juicy.
Okay,
I think it's time.
it's time. So we've got to my favorite segment of the show.
Oh yeah, I know
Robbie,
what this
do
is.
you want to give me a bit of a drum roll and an entry, Robbie, like you usually do?
Classic packs. I can tell with the excitement in Woody's voice already. So he's going to rip in an unopened pack. I believe it's tops today, Woods. What is it, 93, 94?
Yep.
So we've opened a few of these. This is that pack we've talked about. You get one. There's a silver, a gold card. Wood, I forget each time, but you get the special sort of card in each pack. I think we've had a few decent packs through this series,
We have,
anyway, so,
and they're really nice looking cards. And Robbie, we've got a guest on the show, so stop being greedy and trying to hog all the limelight,
I
right?
can't help myself.
You know, we know how good you are. All our viewers know how good you are. You don't have to convince anyone, you know. But leave a few for Prabs, man. All right. Just to prove it's a brand new pack. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, go on,
I'm gonna
Robbie.
let you know, Robbie's part of the basketball breakfast club, mate. He knows all the stats, all the facts. he's in there, man.
I wish my brain could remember some more important things sometimes, perhaps. No, it's good with that.
Well, hey, this is important too, Robbie.
That's true.
Okay, this one is. We were talking about that great draft, that 93 draft earlier in the show, right?
Absolutely.
And then I said, I'm pretty sure this guy was the second pick in that draft. And then Robbie said, we'll get fact checked, probably by Stewie or your brother, Robbie, right? Okay, which player am I talking about? The Mormon.
Oh, big Sean Bradley.
Sean
7'6". He's about to block
Bradley.
Armin Gilliam in that shot, I think, as well, by the looks.
Yeah, it's Armin Gilliam. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's shooting over him, yeah.
Okay, so he's wearing a Philadelphia 76ers 90s jersey. So was he drafted to the Sixers?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
Wow.
Indeed.
I've got one of those jerseys. I'll have to pull it out soon. But he was one of the first ones I remember that wore one of those non-traditional numbers. It was always, 0 to 55 type thing. He came out rocking 76, and then we saw the floodgates open a bit after that with number choices.
All right, perhaps
Yeah.
a little bit of trivia for you. Sean Bradley was the second pick in that draft. Who was the first and the third pick?
The first pick is Chris Webber. And the third pick is Trigger Penny Hardaway, man. Everybody want to be like Penny.
And they were traded for each other.
That's right, because I don't think Shaq wanted another big man on the squad, but he needed someone to roll the point. So
It's a solid draft, that
man.
one. I'm looking at some of the names there now. Very solid.
Yeah.
ooh,
So you,
man, they played like peanut butter and jelly, man. That was amazing.
Hey,
watching those
Sean
two.
Bradley, nationality Germany. Anyone aware of that?
no.
Must have been one of those ones that, I don't know, maybe his parents were Mormons or they were in the Air Force or something like that. But yeah, never noticed that before. Germany. It's like literally, Murasan was drafted that same year at pick 30. So there's only 3 international players that whole draft.
All right, good segue. When you think of George Murasan, you think of
Billy
who
Crystal.
else?
Billy Crystal.
No.
You mean a player?
What player do you think of? All right, and you and me have both worn both of their jerseys at different times on this show, right? Rest in peace to him.
Wait,
Who am I
Manute
talking
Ball?
about? Manute Ball! Big Prabs actually beat Robbie 2-1.
Miami as well.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Hey,
That's pretty
and Manute
fired up
Ball's
in that
kid,
photo.
Manute, his kid plays in the NBA, right?
Is he still on Celtics, man? Has he been waived? Or is he?
I haven't seen him on a roster.
Man,
He must be in the G League or something, maybe. They weren't going to give up on him.
Yeah,
He's got some
right.
talent. Yeah.
All right, the greatest
Good card.
probably the greatest assist man of all time. I mean, one of the greatest dynamic duos of all time.
Stockton, yeah.
Yeah, man. John Stockton.
How's his haircut looking, Woods? I always used to think he used to cut his hair himself, John Stockton. But, yeah.
Hey, so Robbie, if you didn't know, your boy Gary Payton, the jersey you're wearing today, the jersey in the background, he modeled his game around John Stockton and to beat John Stockton.
Yeah, and then added a few extra things that Stockton didn't have to his repertoire as well.
Both pretty
That's
dirty
right.
players in their own right.
Yep.
right?
What happens on the court
Nothing wrong
stays on
with
the
that.
court, man.
Okay, Indiana Pacers, right? Played
Yep.
for the Sacramento Kings, had many years at the Indiana Pacers, played alongside, Reggie Miller, Rick Smith, etc. He was a power forward, sometimes stepped into the center position. Number 41, Robbie. Who am I talking about?
41. Not Dale Davis. 41.
Scott Pollard?
College, Texas. First round, 1982, 5th pick overall.
I say he's an older guy then. 82, 41.
LaSalle Thompson.
I'll go with LaSalle. But anyway,
LaSalle Thompson. All right, okay.
Yeah, nice,
You know?
nice. It's a blast.
All right,
Pass.
love this guy, man. Microwave could heat up. Pretty sure he had a 50-point game for the Lakers. Previously with the Phoenix Suns. 6'1", guard. Absolute legend, man. I think you might have a jersey of his as well, Robbie.
Phoenix and Lakers, you say?
Yep.
A little guy.
No, yeah, little guy. Microwave could get it done in many ways.
Number?
What's his number?
23.
Oh, Sabalos.
Cedric Sabalos.
Right, that's not a little guy. Come on.
He's not 6'1". He's 6'7".
6'9".
Why does it say 6'1" on the back of the card? Look.
He's 6'7". He plays small forward.
Where's the
shooting
quality
guard,
check
dude.
going on tops there?
Yeah.
Cedric
Tops.
Sabalos is 6'7". Yeah.
Yeah.
So 6'1". Wow, that's a bit random.
Yeah, I don't know why they got it wrong on the back of the card. My apologies. I'm just reading the card, right?
No, all
Dude,
good.
Cedric
Can't blame you for
Sabalos,
that one.
blindfolded, All-Star
Yeah.
weekend.
I was like
done.
6'1". He was a swing man, you know? Like
So
come on.
he says he was blindfolded anyway.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can see through that. Yeah.
And Robbie, he did have a 50-point game with the Lakers, didn't he?
I think he might
Or
have
a
been
45,
club.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to get someone to fact check that one. You go on to the next one.
All right, the next one, played for the Sydney Kings. I think Brad Rosen mentioned him earlier. Ex-Sacramento King. 1-year import with the Sydney Kings, if I'm not mistaken.
Jeez, that doesn't nail it down much, Woods.
Yep.
Jeez.
Evers
Oh,
Burns. Evers
Oh,
Burns.
yeah. Well, he's just sitting in street clothes or on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah. What size was he? Let's see if they've got that right.
Yeah. He's 6'8". Can you check what year he was on the Kings? I think it might have been 98 on the Kings.
Kings, as in the Sydney Kings, right?
Yeah.
Not the Sacramento Kings.
Well, this
Yeah, both Kings, that's pretty
both Kings, yeah.
All right. Okay.
97, 98.
97, 98 for the Sydney Kings, right?
Man,
So
talking
it's like-
about a journeyman. He played everywhere, that guy.
All right.
Played in countries I've never heard of here. Jeez. Like teams, I'm like, who was that? Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, all I'm gonna say is Parks and Recreation, white guy.
Detlef Schrempf.
Yeah, Detlef Schrempf.
Oh, it's great flat top he had back in the day, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Former teammate of the glove.
Yep,
That's
exactly.
Yep.
Detlef played in that same team that went to the finals to play the Bulls.
And Prabs,
Yeah.
this one's for you, Rob. Robbie, don't steal the limelight here. Okay, you talk about David Robinson. You're wearing his jersey today, right? One of his contemporaries, a defensive beast. You talk about the great centers in that time, in that 90s period. This guy was the best defensive center out of all of them. Who am I talking about?
The best defensive center
Out of all of them, yeah,
out of all of them.
yeah. Arguably the greatest shot blocker in the history of the game. Yeah.
Arguably the greatest shot blocker in the... Oh, you talking about Alonzo Mourning?
No, come on, Prabs. Come on, so we'll give the finger wag for you.
Oh, hey, not in my house. Not in my house. He's your boy, Dikembe.
Matumbo, yes.
Hey, man, I just mentioned another Georgetown Hoya, so
Yeah.
forgive me for that.
Hey,
We-
Woods, have we had our special card in this pack yet? The gold or something?
Oh, yeah, let me have a
It doesn't
look.
always stand out, does it?
Yeah, it was. Detlef Schrempf.
Okay. Because I think we might have had his card in a previous pack, so he might
Yeah,
have gone for
maybe
it.
not in a top, not in a top
Okay.
spec. Yeah,
Okay.
we've had an ultra
Come on,
flare.
can
I
you pull
think.
an Atlanta Hawk for us?
Oh, bro, the next one is an Atlanta Hawk. It's the
Oh.
greatest Atlanta Hawk of all time.
John
All right?
Cack.
No, the greatest of all time. Come on, bro.
Dominique, man, it's
I
got to
hope
be
it's Dominique.
Dominique.
I pulled a Dominique Wilkins Hawks card.
our
Literally,
first
one.
bro. The second you said, for all our audience, this was not set up. It was just Robbie said, "Woody, can you pull a Hawks card?" And the next card was a Dominique
favourite
Wilkins
player.
card.
Wow.
Oh my god.
I've got to say, Woods, I think they could have found a more exciting picture on that card for Dominic than just standing there like that. But anyway, yeah.
Get that bobblehead, boy. Yeah.
Look at, hey, Prabs, just from my seat, I'm sitting in, looking around, I've got, I reckon 10 Dominique bits in this room. I'm in 10 different Dominique things. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
and I can
that's
see you
great,
got a
Woods.
you got a Josh Smith in the background too, and I love
Joe
Josh
Smith's in
Smith
the
too,
back.
man.
Yeah, I've got another wall with pennants actually, and I've got a David Robinson one of all people, and I've got Matombo and Dominique. So, The camera doesn't quite.
All right, guys, this is ridiculous. In the same pack.
Wow.
One gold one normal one.
Wow.
Detlef Schrempf.
That is unusual.
So the guy in the background for Robbie, you've got a Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk was one of the few German players that came after Detlef, but he
right.
owed massive. He gave massive props to
Paved the
Detlef.
way. Shout out to Uwe Blab as well, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think Stewie pulled one of his cards in a recent pack he got. Did he? Or
I think Stewie's trying to get a Uwe Blab jersey. I think.
Stewie, shout out to you, homeboy. All right, the greatest rebounder of all time.
The Worm.
Yeah,
Dennis Rodman.
Wow, and that time with the Spurs.
And I got to show you the back of the. How good is that? Eh?
He's got the Wesley Snipes demolition.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Simon Phoenix. No, was it Simon Phoenix?
Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That was a good movie, actually. I like that one.
Yeah, man. Was it Stallone? That's
Yeah.
right, Stallone.
It's a young Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock at her finest, man. Hell yeah,
Jeez,
right?
It's not often we start talking about old movies.
Showing our age, man. Showing our age. Hey, rappers want to be ballers. Ballers want to be rappers, actors, all that shit Prabs said earlier in the show. All right.
It's so true. It's so true, man.
All right. 30 assists in a game. That's all I'm going to say.
Scott Skiles.
Scott Skiles. That's a pretty impressive pack, guys. Yeah?
That's an impressive back.
Our first Dominique pull as well. And how many packs have we opened? We've probably opened like 15 now, maybe?
Oh, no, more than that, man. We started on episode 4. We're on episode
we're-
27 now, so 23 packs we've
And
opened.
it's our first Dominique, so that's a momentous occasion.
And by popular demand, upper deck packs on the way, Robbie.
Can't wait for that. Hey, Woods, can you just give a little bit of clarification on what happened last week with the packs and we had Brad Rosen on?
Okay, what happened was I opened a pack of NBL Futura cards, okay? And it was exactly the same pack. Like, every single card was the same in the first pack.
Order, right? There's even the first pack. That's crazy. So you've got one more of those packs. You're probably scared to open it now, aren't you?
Yeah, I think we got Jacinta coming on the show next week. I think we might open it with her, right? And let's see.
Cool.
But I'll have a reserve one ready in case it's the same, right?
Nice.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. How much fun was that?
That was great. Flew by.
That was amazing, guys. And like I said, I've been watching you from the first episode. You guys have been climbing from height to height, so
Respect,
I'm
brother.
loving
Thank
the
you.
content. I moved away from Spotify and straight to watching you guys on video. I don't get to see my boy Woody. We used to see each other practically every day at work, but now obviously things have changed. But yeah, I'm loving you guys, and keep going. Because we need podcasts like this to keep the older generation hooked in and get the younger generation to listen to the old stories as well.
Thanks, Prabs. And speaking of last week, Stewie did pull us up, and so did Matt Clayton on a couple of corrections we needed to make, Robbie. Do you want to...
Yeah, another shout out to Stewie. He's popular this episode. Look, I
He
think
is.
if ever we make a mistake, I think either him or my brother, Matt, who was on a few weeks ago, are going to pick it up. So I actually did overlook that Jesse Wagstaff and Damien Martin are also in that 6 NBL championships history. I think I mentioned David Stiff and CJ last week. All I can say, Woods, is sometimes I get pretty confused with the Wildcats because they've just won so many titles, and sometimes I just kind of forget about one, But yeah, that's kind of my reason for that one. But I guess the other thing about that, Jesse and Damo were the only players to do it with one club, so probably makes sense.
And I think that 6th championship, as I told the boys on our group chat the other day, is very debatable, man. He didn't actually win that championship against my Kings that year.
The team didn't want to turn up, bro. So hey, Boga got that dodgy MVP. What else do you want? We all know Cotton should have got that year. Come on.
Oh, yeah. No, I hear you. All right, so Prabs, you enjoy yourself today or what?
I had a great time, man. I think when you first brought this idea up about the podcast, I was excited for you. Now I'm actually on here with you as a guest. It's been amazing, man. Thank you to you and Robbie, for having me on.
Pleasure,
Much
mate.
appreciated. Yeah.
Thanks, Prabs. And I just got to say to the whole audience, and we didn't mention it on a previous episode, Robbie's going to commentate his first games ever on Sunday for NBL L1, Robbie. And you've had a couple of great chats during the week with some of the most influential and respected media personalities and commentators in the country. Do you want to tell the audience a little bit about who reached out to you during the week and spoke to you and gave you tips for what's happening on Sunday?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Wood. So, look, I was really lucky this week to have a chat with Matt McQuaid early in the week, sort of long-time NBL caller, Sydney Kings historian. Matt gave me some great advice there. And just yesterday, Woods actually spoke to a friend of the podcast, an absolute legend, Liam Santamaria. Had a long chat with Liam. He gave me some really good advice and some good pointers. Obviously, he's been doing the commentary game for a while. So, yeah, really appreciate both those guys. Really, much love to you both for sort of sharing your wealth of knowledge and helping me out there. Yeah, can't wait till Sunday, Woods. I know you're going to be coming down and watching these games. So Hills Hornets are going to be taking on Manly on Sunday. So, yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, really excited, man. Really proud of you as well. And you couldn't get advice from two better guys before you're embarking on this new journey, let's say.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Robbie, you want to sort of go into the Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff in terms of where our audience can find us?
Definitely. So, look, we've got sort of the three places you can sort of, reach out to us or find us there, everyone. So, look, our Twitter handle is Throwbacks Hoops. We're pretty sort of active on Twitter there. Woody puts the pictures up in the jerseys and everything else like that each week. Instagram, we're at throwback.hoops.
Yes.
And, of course, our email address, keep any suggestions or anything else coming through there. So, throwbackhoopspodcast@gmail.com. And Woods, I'll throw it back to you to give your shout-outs as well, man.
Yeah, look, just Patreon. If you can support us, jump on Patreon and look for Throwback Hoops. And if you can pledge your support to us, you don't have to. Obviously, it's just for some of our avid listeners. We'd really appreciate your support there, right? And Prabs, give yourself a plug here, man. Where can everyone find you?
Oh, look, I am on Instagram. I'm as active as I can be. So it's just Big Prabs, like you can see. Hit me up with a follow, and I'll follow you back.
So what you're at Big Prabs, BIGPRABS, yeah?
That's it. Yeah, Big Prabs, yeah.
Terrific. And I just want to bring one thing up before we go, right? And it's been killing me all week, Robbie. You heard me drop that verse, right? Yeah?
Yep.
That verse from Jurassic 5 at the start of the show, right? It's not any of the Jurassic 5 rappers, all right? It is a guest verse. Rocky has said that to me. You can't tell me who the rapper is. I can't find it online. So for the audience, listen to the song, The Game by Jurassic 5. What album is it on, Robbie? I know you're a Jurassic 5 guy. It's on Quality Control 2000. Yeah? Okay. Listen to the track. Listen to that third verse and tell me who the rapper is, right? Because it's been killing me, man.
Giving our viewers some homework, I like it.
Hell yeah. All right, it's been awesome. You spoke of Matt McQuaid. He's going to be on our show soon, isn't he, Robbie?
Yeah, we're going to get him on there sort of maybe towards later in the month and sort of, chop up some old NBL talk and everything. So can't wait. Looking forward to the next episode as well.
Yep, it's been fun, guys. Prabs, any last words?
I just want to say thank you, boys, for having me on, and everybody else out there. Please share Throwback Hoops on your social media. Get more people, following these guys and listening to the content. Hey, do not miss a week. It's always fun. So, thanks, guys.
Much love, man.
Yep, much love. Robbie, anything else?
Nah, enjoy your weekends, everyone. Depending on when you're listening to this, hopefully your team gets up and, bring on these NBA playoffs next week as well.
Hell yeah. We'll be back next week to do it again. All right?
Yep.
Peace out.
See you
Peace, guys.
next week. See ya.